Dear brothers and sisters, today let us continue the book reading Voicereal, written by Babuji Maharaj, chapter Afflictions. I have my own experiences of sufferings and miseries, and after pondering over them a good deal, I have now come to the conclusion that suffering and disease are the bones of nature in disguise, which helps deliverance from the effects of sanskaras. When one is cleared of their remnants, spiritual progress goes on unabated, provided one's mind is inwardly inclined towards it. None is required to give up the normal activities of life connected with his worldly living, but needs only to be busy alongside with it for the attainment of that which is finally to be attained. I wonder why people do not feel interested in this matter, which is of such vital importance. Some I find busy with prayer, prarthana, for the development of bhakti in them, and wish to come into the world again and again for the purpose. I appreciate their idea of devotion, but the latter portion, that is coming again and again, is not understandable to me at all. It seems to be devoid of any sense, purpose, or object. What one should actually do is to surrender oneself to God. The thing may seem to be difficult in the beginning, but it is really the easiest. Here, Babuji Maharaj is sharing his experiences of sufferings and miseries with all of us. See, after pondering over them, he has come to the conclusion that the sufferings and diseases are the bones of nature in disguise instead of curse. They are the bones of nature because they helps deliverance from the effects of sanskaras. That means they will liberate us from the effects of sanskaras. And when one is cleared of their remnants, that means even the smallest impression of the sufferings has been erased, then his or her spiritual progress goes on unabated, that is, without any resistance or hindrance. He will simply proceed faster and faster in the path of God realization. But what is needed is his or her inwardly inclination to achieve that state of condition. And for this, one may question that whether we have to sacrifice our worldly living or the activities what we are doing every day, that is, day-to-day activities. For this, the answer is absolutely no. We can very well perform our duties which are related to our family, friends, and society, and along with this, side by side, if we try to attain that final state of condition, definitely by the grace of Master, it is very much possible to attain that highest state of condition. But Babuji Maharaj is saying that he wonders why people do not feel interested in this matter, which is of such vital importance, which is the basic need of each and every individual. Surprisingly, Babuji Maharaj find some people busy with their prayers or prarthana for the development of bhakti in them, and they wish to come into this world again and again for that purpose, that is to do bhakti, that is devotion towards God. Here Babuji Maharaj is appreciating the idea of devotion, but the latter portion, that is coming into this world again and again, is not understandable to him at all. See, if we want to cultivate devotion or bhakti, that is good. That part is good. But why we should come again and again to this world? To undergo all these sufferings again and again? No, there is no need at all. See, that devotion or bhakti is there to reach up to that level, to reach that highest state of condition where one will not come to this world again. Because coming again and again will not serve any purpose, and it does not have any sense also. So for that, what Babuji Maharaj is saying, that instead of that, one should actually surrender oneself to God completely. And then what happens? All the impressions or our sanskaras will wither away, and with that, the effect of our sufferings or miseries will not be there on us. But of course, surrendering to God is not a small job. People may ask that question also. Is it a small job? It is not possible for us to surrender to Him completely because it is very difficult. But what Babuji Maharaj is saying, the things may seem to be difficult in the beginning, but when we go on practicing it, surrender yourself in each and every activity of your life to God, then it becomes easy. Now, let us read further. I find people complaining that they do not find time for worship or meditation. But I feel, and everybody knows well, that they always get sufficient time for their illness, worries, and physical needs. The reason is that all these things are of greater importance to them than the divine duties. As a matter of fact, a man can keep himself busy with divine thoughts every moment without offering any hindrance to his worldly activities. If one practices it so as to form his habit, it becomes so easy and natural with him that he would not like to part with it even for a moment. I give you all a very helpful hint. Before taking up a certain work, think of him for a while in the sense that he himself is doing it. It is the simplest method, and I should like you all to follow it in right earnest. Here, Babuji Maharaj is telling about the people who complain that they do not find time for worship or meditation. It is in general. Many people will complain that we don't have time to do meditation or worship. That to meditation for 1 hour, it is not possible for us at all. The people will say like that. But here Babuji Maharaj is saying that everybody has time, sufficient time to do their worldly duties and to pay attention or time for their illness, worries, and other physical needs also. But why don't they have the time for these divine duties. Because for them, doing their worldly duties is of greater importance than the divine duties. That is the only reason. Other than that, absolutely, even myself feel that there is no other reason. Here the priority, because people prioritize their duties. If we prioritize our duty and give first importance or primary importance to our divine duties like meditation and spiritual practice, then it is very much possible to do it regularly. If we do not pay importance to this, and if we are more inclined towards our worldly duties, then we never feel time to do all our divine duties. Further, Babuji Maharaj is saying that, see, without offering any hindrance to our worldly activities, one can keep himself busy with the divine thoughts each and every moment. Is it possible or not? Yes, definitely it is possible. Because the remembrance is a phenomena that happens inside, and doing our worldly activities is outside. Then what is needed to keep ourselves busy in the remembrance of God or Guru is only practice. If we start practicing it slowly, that means if we start doing a worldly task, just before starting that work, if we remember God and do it, then it is His remembrance that takes us further to complete that task. So similarly, if we submit everything to Him after completing that task, then slowly the phenomenon of surrendering to God will happen naturally. Further, if we start thinking that we are not the doers of that work, whatever the work we are doing it, and He Himself is the doer, if just we give that supposition, then the burden because of that workload will not be there on our shoulder. And even whether if it goes right or wrong, both the impressions will not be there on us. Just we will be freed from all the impressions which are formed by the result of our activity. So Babuji Maharaj is saying that this is the simplest method what he is suggesting us to do. And if we follow this in right earnest means, then definitely it will yield the desired result. That is, it makes us to progress towards our goal in an easy way. Let us read further. An intense craving is therefore essential under all circumstances, and for that meditation is an indispensable factor. If one gets firmly settled on it, his problem may finally be solved. The easiest way to increase the intensity of craving is to take it up even in an artificial way if it is not actually present in the mind. In course of time, by constant practice, the artificial feeling will become true and genuine. Here, Babaji Maharaj is giving us the hint to solve our problem. What is that hint? That is, one should develop intense craving and therefore essential under all circumstances. And for that, what is needed is meditation. That is an indispensable factor. See, to realize God, what should be there within us? Intense craving. So, how to create that intense craving? It is through meditation. So, if we practice meditation regularly, slowly, that craving becomes intense, and thereby we can achieve our goal. See, initially, it may not be possible to create that intense craving within us. For that, Babaji Maharaj is giving us an easy way how to create that intense craving. Just in the beginning, if we practice it artificially, not really, but artificially, and by constant practice, the artificial feeling will become true and genuine. For that, Babaji Maharaj has said in one of his books that if you cannot shed the tears for God naturally, you try it artificially. You start weeping artificially. Then one day what happens? That artificial feeling will fade out and it turns to be a real, a genuine. So this is how we have to practice. If we do not have that feeling also, just artificially we have to create that feeling, and through practice it becomes true and genuine. With this, dear brethren, I conclude today's satsang. Let us know more aspects in the forthcoming satsang. Till then, I take leave. Pranams. Namaste.